Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mind in the Middle podcast. I'm your girl, Natasia, and we're on episode 3. Today, we're going to be talking about establishing boundaries. But first, I want to go ahead and shout out this company who I got this beautiful necklace from called Journey to Nirvana. I wore it in my last episode, but totally forgot to mention them. So you can follow them on Instagram and maybe cop some pieces. But this is like such a beautiful necklace, and I really wanted to go ahead and shout them out. And shout out to Boba Tea, because this is the best Thai tea anyone could ever have. This tea hit every time. I'm a fan. Sure. So today's episode, we're going to just be talking about establishing boundaries. And people pleasing, I guess that kind of goes in hand in hand a little bit. Like lack of having boundaries and being a people pleaser definitely go hand in hand. There's some people who really genuinely love to give, love to make people happy, and that's a good quality to have. But sometimes it is overkill if you're compromising your own peace of mind or just time to yourself. Also depends on the relationship dynamic that you're in. For some people, they're not really a people pleaser with their family or their friends, but they are a people pleaser with their partner, or the other way around. For some reason, they have no problem setting boundaries with their partner, but when it comes to their family, especially their parents, they just let anybody walk all over them. And people pleasing, having the lack of boundaries when it comes to people, I mean, I would definitely assume that it has to do with childhood experiences. Could be traumatic, could be just, the way that you were raised. So I'm going to just spill out a few simple tips that I feel like are helpful for people who find it hard to tell other people no. I feel like even for me in my life right now, I'm definitely not a type of person that I can just tell anybody no. Like it's just easy for me to say no. I have learned to express when I'm uncomfortable or when I'm not in the right mind state to do something or talk about something, whatever, but I'm still not like, no. That doesn't even feel good. It doesn't feel good to tell people no. But some of the things that I do feel comfortable saying are things like, if someone is going through a lot and they need to talk about something that is very heavy and I'm dealing with my own stuff or I'm stressed out, one of the things that I can say is, right now I have a lot going on and I do want to be able to give you my undivided attention with whatever you're dealing with, but right now I have to blah 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 blah. I think the biggest thing to get over when it comes to being a people pleaser, not having boundaries, is getting over the belief that you telling a person no, or saying that you can't do something for them, is not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. I mean, it depends definitely on the circumstance, but it's not bad to tell someone, especially if it's, you're coming from a genuine place, to tell someone that you can't show up for them in the way that they want you to, or you can't, do something that they want you to. And I feel like because we're just so conditioned to believe that if we are too focused on ourselves, or if we don't help another person or, do something for another person, and that makes us selfish. You want to have a balance. Like, no, you don't want to be that person who gets ran all over or is just worn down because they're just spread out too thin when it comes to helping other people and putting other people before themselves. You don't want to be that person, but you also don't want to be that negative Nancy that is just can't do anything for anybody but themselves. But the most important thing to always keep in mind is, where is your cup level at? Like they say, you got to fill your own cup. You can't give to anybody else unless you give to yourself. So if you can sit with yourself and ask yourself, what line is my cup filled up at? Is it at the halfway mark? Is my cup runneth over? Is it full? Is it running on E? When you can ask yourself that, and depending on where it is in your head, then ask yourself, okay, well, what is it that I need right now in this moment? And if it's nothing, or if it's nothing crazy, then you can then say, I have something to give. I can help someone else. I can show up for someone else. But if you know that you are struggling, that you need assistance or you need time to yourself, not even that you need anybody else, but you need time to yourself, then that's when you need to be able to communicate that to someone else. And I feel like too, when you understand that someone who truly loves you or cares about you, or at least at minimum cares about your better interest, they will understand that. I feel like it's important to be aware of things like that. Ask yourself those questions. But when you're aware of those things and when you're aware of yourself in that way, when you ask yourself those questions, you get to understand who you are more, just by knowing, okay, when I haven't done this, I get like this. And so when I'm like this, I don't have nothing to give. That can also inspire you to do what it is that you need to do so that you can be there for the people that you love. Understanding that establishing your boundary is also helping the people that you love, because once you have what it is that you need, then you can help someone else. I'm not at that comfort level, depending on what it is. I'm not at that comfort level where someone like genuinely asks me for my help or for something and I'm just like, no. That's not me. I'm not her. And I've seen like the clips. I don't know if it was Oprah or somebody, they were talking to somebody else that was like, you just got to get comfortable with the word no. I'm not saying it verbatim, but basically they said, when I say no, I'm not explaining nothing, which definitely you shouldn't feel a need to explain why you're saying no. But my thing is, like, if I'm going to say no, depending on what the situation is, I'm going to give like an alternative after. I think it's always good to follow a no with something to take the edge off, shall I say. Like, if I get invited somewhere, I know I'm not going to want to go, honestly, I'm just getting over just saying yes. Because I used to be her. Like, if you invite me somewhere, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I would love to. I want to go. And I'm still getting over, because I found myself too many times committing myself, saying that, yeah, I'm going to do something, and then I don't want to go when the day comes. So I started telling myself, like, I'm going to just start saying, I'll check my schedule. Either I'll check my schedule and see what I have going on, but thank you so much for the invite. Or even just simply saying, oh, I'll pass this time, but thank you so much for the invite. Like, to me, that feels better than just saying no. Like, No, like I'm not going to explain, but I'm not about to just say straight up no. I always believe that, again, it's about how you say stuff more than it is about what you say. You can definitely say no in different ways, of course, depending on the situation and depending on the person, because there's some people who will just push and push and push and push until you have to really, like, sometimes people, you have to be firm with people, like, no, no thank you, period. So like I said in the beginning, this is very subjective, but the most important thing and the most important takeaway from this episode that I want you to have, I know it probably was all over the place, but the key takeaway is, one, just be aware of what your limits are. Be aware of how it feels to say yes or no to something, whatever it is. If you say yes and it doesn't feel right in your body, or it feels like it's taking away from something that you need at that moment, whether it's your time, money, energy, whatever, then understand that and respect that. And when you do, then it gives you that confidence to be able to firmly say no. And however your way of saying no is. If your way of saying no is just straight up no, honey, period. And if you're more like me and like to take a little edge off, just softly tell someone, not right now, but thank you so much. Or not right now, but I hope you get well soon. Or not right now, but in the next few days, when I get myself together, when I have the energy, I will reach out to you and we can talk about it. There's so many different ways that you can go about it. And also, if it doesn't feel right to say no, then that's okay too. If you can't really gauge, like, is this person taking advantage of me? Was this person, don't get caught up in that. If you feel good helping someone, that is a really good thing. That's beautiful, and you should definitely do that. But it's all about balance. And as long as you have balance, you'll be all right. But with all that being said, I hope y'all all live in love, live in light, and we'll chat on the next one. Bye.